Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to Simondo Talks. My name is Christina and I'm here to introduce you to some of the smartest Amazon experts from all over the world. If you already subscribed to our channel, good job. If you're new to our channel and you'd like to get some industry insights, here's some interesting stories about entrepreneurship and learn some useful hacks and tips that you can apply to your own Amazon business, make sure you subscribe to our channel now and hit that notification bell so you will never miss another episode again. My guest for you today is Shamosh. He's the founder of SellerAppeal. SellerAppeal helps Amazon sellers from all over the world to get their listings and accounts reinstated. Let's say hi and ask him some questions. So I'm here today with Shamosh, who's the founder of SellerAppeal and based in Israel. Hi, So glad to have you here.
Hey, glad to be here as well. Thank you.
How are you today? Feeling good?
Pretty good, pretty good. A lot of work and while exiting and coming to the new holidays, but it's good.
Classic end of the year stress, I assume.
Yes,
Um, could
definitely.
you could you tell me in just one sentence what is seller appeal?
Well, SellerAppeal is a company that deals with Amazon's policy. There are a lot of Amazon appeal services, but we specialize in their policy. For example, if you get suspended for trademark infringement, a trademark is something that is relevant to the United States law. And we don't talk about the law. We come and investigate Amazon policy regarding this matter and write down the appeal accordingly, while not addressing the law, but addressing their policy. So basically, we are an appeal company. Um, we are dealing with every single suspension that exists.
So both listing suspension and account suspension?
Yes, correct. We have three departments. The biggest is the policy
Mhm.
department. There is a department for legal issues because, after all, for example, patents have to be addressed in a legal matter. So we have a department for that, and a department for regulation issues. For example, the FDA, DEA, EPA, and so on.
If you provide so many services and have so many departments, how many employees do you have?
We are currently 4 employees uh, and outsourcing a lot of things, but most of the things is here inside our company, and each one takes part in many different things. So, for example, if I deal with the policy, the writing of the appeals, there is Sasha who is in charge of the legal issues, and so on. Each one takes his part, and a part of every other thing.
I mean, I'm a big fan of outsourcing things because I always think that there are people who are so specialized in what they're doing that it's just better to leave some stuff to them and not do everything in house. So you have a great network.
Yes, no doubt. Yes.
Do you work with clients all over the world, or do you say you only deal with suspensions that happen on Amazon US, or do you also operate in Europe? How does that look like?
Yeah, all marketplaces. The policies, most of the times it is similar between the US and other marketplaces, but there are differences. For example, um, knives, for example, are permitted in some cases in the United States, and in Europe they are strictly not prohibited. Some types of adult products. So we are dealing with everything, while most of the times it is the same, but uh, each case has its differences.
The first thing that comes to my mind is the language barrier. I mean, I'm in
Mhm.
Germany. Let's assume I'd be a German Amazon seller and I get a suspension notification that will be in German. So if I hire you, do you have anyone translating everything for you or?
The appeal should be in English, no matter in what marketplace. It should be in English. And the
Okay, that's
suspension,
perfect for you.
Google Translate does a great job for the language barrier between the both of us.
And as you said, like many suspension reasons are the same in different markets. So, all right. how long do you take to get someone reinstated, and what does that depend on?
Our fastest case was 12 minutes after we sent the appeal, and that was crazy.
Do you know Jeff
Um,
Bezos personally, or
no,
how did
no,
that
it
work?
was for a random department. Most of the times, the appeals are not sent on our behalf, and our name is not even there. Meaning, we write down the appeal for the customer based on our experience and knowledge, and we send him to him with instructions on how to forward it and to which department, what title, what attachments. So it isn't up to us. It is up to the associate, to the representative who gets the appeal, and the quality of it, and how busy he was in that same day. So that's basically it. It can be in busy times, like now in the Q4. Sadly, it can even take weeks.
Yeah.
Our longest case was 2 months because it was a very challenging and difficult one. But basically, as long as the appeal is good, there is no reason to be rejected, and our fastest was 12 minutes. So it can be
Um,
everything.
that would be my next question. Do you take on any clients, or are there also cases where you like review the case and you're like, okay, it's basically impossible to get reinstated again because the seller did so many wrong things in the past, or it was too severe, the violation?
Mhm.
How does that look like?
So first of all, the client arrives to us, and Rotem, one of our employees, is reviewing the case. She is taking a look at everything, the first suspension letter, what was the root cause, everything to perfectly understand what we will need to write in the appeal and if we will be able to deal with this. Then we estimate the success rate and the price for the client. And if he wishes to continue, we write down the appeal. There are a lot of cases that we don't accept because people do a lot of crazy things. So if there are a lot of black hat tactics or real infringements and legit inauthentic items that the client forged, or invoices that he manipulated, we are not taking those cases because first, we don't want to be involved in illegal matters. And second, the success rates are very low, so we prefer not to deal with those.
I understand, and I want to say something to our viewers and listeners. It might seem unfair to you that some companies don't take your case, but see it that way. If you're suspended and then I don't know, I have to pay an additional amount for a reinstatement service, but the chances are like 1% or even less, then in the end you pay just more and don't get reinstated anyway.
Mhm.
So that's actually a pretty honest and nice way of working. My next question would be, do you have your own experience selling on Amazon, or where did the idea come from to found a suspension appeal company?
um, I personally was suspended a lot of times, about 200 listings, and 60 times my account was suspended. Uh,
What did you do? Were you one of the sellers with the black hat tactics, or?
I actually brought in products of my own private label to get them suspended. I created a network
Ah.
of buyers and bought and sent false complaint against myself to get me suspended and to learn Amazon's algorithm this way, what works, what doesn't work, how to correctly appeal, uh, what causes the suspension, how to research the account, where can I see it, the complaint that I sent. And so the last one, the 61 appeal, didn't work for my account, and they permanently suspended me.
That's insane. It's such a cool story.
But yeah, most of the time it was fun, and this is how I learned to appeal.
So you didn't just read 3, 4 blog
I,
articles online, but you really got like hands-on and you know what you're dealing with.
I'm one of the few who read Amazon's policy and TOS entirely. Hundreds of pages.
I was gonna say, it's like, I think it would took me like 2 years because I would get so bored reading it.
It's actually pretty nice to read. It's pretty easy. It's not like the long legal terms and I don't know, and all caps. That's the BSA, the Business Solution Agreement. That's a different thing than the
Yeah.
TOS, the Terms of Service. The BSA is the legal and boring thing, and the TOS is like what you can do and what you can sell, what you should write in your title, how you shouldn't write things, image guidelines. It's all very interactive. There are a lot of videos, a lot of images, very simple language, and it's not that scary.
When did you start your company?
About 3 years ago.
Nice. And what do you think makes a good suspension appeal company, like in general?
To know and to understand the root cause. That's basically it. While you understand what you did wrong, you know how to address it. And as long as you know how to interpret it or to write it correctly, you got a
And
chance.
and why should I choose your company over other appeal companies?
There are a few great other appeal companies. We specialize in Amazon's policy. And as I first started, for example, the trademark, uh, just 2 weeks ago, we got a client who was suspended for trademark infringement. He hired other companies, legal company lawyers, and they said there is no infringement because the trademark is not valid, because he registered it and there was prior legal things. And Amazon Associates don't know how to verify those claims. How can the Indian Amazon employee or in Bangladesh that receives $1.50 per hour knows how to verify that the trademark is not valid? He doesn't know. He got his SOPs, he got his guidelines to verify, to see if the appeal addresses 123. And he didn't. He just said the trademark is not valid. So uh, it got rejected and the client arrived to us. And what we did is we addressed this in the Amazon's policy language. And we said, we are sorry, we wrongly used this term. We deleted it. We will not do it again on 8 pages appeal. And it worked because this is Amazon's policy. This is their language and this is not legal. And this is our specialty.
So you're basically like a translation company.
Exactly.
What are three things that your clients say about you and your work? Imagine I go to a former client of yours and say, I don't know if I should hire a seller appeal. Can you tell me a little bit about them? What would they say to me?
Fast response. We understand that every minute is money. And so we try and respond and communicate as fast as possible. I will say some sort of a wow effect with the appeal. All of a sudden you get a 8, 10, 12 pages appeal that you don't know where it arrived from. And I will say communicative. We try to explain the situation and the root cause to the client. So we will not only get reinstated, but he will know why and he will know how to prevent it in the future.
Are you sometimes also acting as psychologist? Because I know that a lot of
All the times,
sellers,
all the
yeah, a
times,
lot
all
of
the times.
sellers are so desperate and just see like their whole business falling apart. So do you also try to like calm them down and
all my employees are Amazon sellers themselves, and they got suspended, and so they know, and I know, and we know the urgency and how frustrating it is to talk with an automated system. It's hard, and we know that, and this is why we always try to help the sellers to calm them down and to have empathy towards them.
And in your experience, what are the main reasons for suspensions, the main mistakes that sellers make?
It's most of the times it's not due to mistakes. It's the most common suspension is something called used item. That used item sold as new. This means that a customer bought your product and they return it because the package looked a little bit dirty or opened or similar common like that. And that's most of the times Amazon's fault and their bad warehouse and shipment, and that's on you. The second most common is copyright. You can't protect that. You can't protect against it. You can't avoid it, even if you created everything by yourself. Design patterns, the same. Most of the times, it isn't a mistake that the customer make. And the third most common one is something called detail page needed correction. This means that in your listing, title, bullet points, images, description, EBC, A plus contact today, there was some violation. And this is something that everyone can avoid. Most of the times, the content writers, the copywriters who write your list, or if you wrote it by yourself, they aren't fully aware of Amazon's policy. And unfortunately, it gets a lot of people suspended.
And what should sellers do, like step by step, after getting a suspension letter by Amazon?
First would be to understand if you wish to try and deal with this alone or to take this professionally. After all, it's your time and your money. And if you prefer to lose more time to save money, that's a business decision, which is more than acceptable and is great because that's the sum of the money after all. So to understand if you wish to prefer which way. Second would be to understand why. As said, if it is used item, understand that it is because of a customer complaint. If it is a design patent, understand what a patent means. If your product is exactly the same as someone else's. Copyright, to see if you copied someone or if you could created everything by yourself. There are some cases like regulation issues, FDA, EPA, DEA, that I wouldn't advise to go alone because those are very difficult ones to deal with. But basically, everything that is strictly Amazon's policy, you can deal with this alone. You can.
I want to say something about that. What a lot of sellers don't keep in mind is that like every day that you miss out on sales also means like less revenue, less money for you. So you should really think in the beginning, is it worth being suspended a week longer and doing it by myself, or just paying a certain amount to an appeal company and they get me reinstated more quickly? As you say, it's a
Exactly. Exactly.
business decision. What happens if I'm not happy with your work? If I hire you and for some reason the suspension appeal doesn't work, how do you deal with unhappy clients, if you ever had any?
Well, first of all, we include all follow-ups needed in our appeal, in our service. It almost never does get solved in the first attempt because that's Amazon. The representatives are a lot of time lazy. There are a lot of technical issues. There is a lot of ping pong that we need to do with them to arrive to obtain more information and so on. And so we include all follow-ups needed and eventually solve this, even escalate to Jeff Bezos' department. If you're unhappy, we usually prefer to refund your money if it was our fault. But most of the times we get the problem solved. Um, can take 12 minutes and can take 2 months.
And Amazon's guidelines change a lot. Basically, I feel like it changes like 10 times every day. How do you keep up to date? Like, how do you stay informed about all the new regulations?
Well, when I first started to hire employees, my friends asked me, "Oh, aren't you scared that they will copy you, that they will start to compete you and get their own clients?" I said no, because the policy changes every 10 days. And so if this appeal was relevant today, a week later it is not relevant and they won't know what to do. And I am all day reading. This is what I am here for, to read and to understand and to get updated with their algorithm and with their changes. It isn't only their policy, it is their algorithm and the guidelines that the employees receive. And this is why I always get my listings blocked and try to appeal and see what changed and learn from it.
All right, sounds very good. Then we're already done with the business part. Now I want to know more about you and your person. Why did you decide to become self-employed and not just work for another appeal company?
That's a good question. I never really had the opportunity to offer my service, to offer myself to another appeal company. I started this a few 3 years ago, and I saw the need. I saw in many Facebook groups people that getting suspended and help. What should I do? And I didn't see that they received any proper response. No one answered them, and so I started to help them for free, and things got good and started to open this business. So really, because I didn't see someone answering this need.
Do you or did you always knew that you will become your own boss one day, or like the way you told it now sounds like you kind of like slithered into the entrepreneurial life?
That's exactly what happened. I never was employed. I never worked in a company before. First time here in Israel, we are obligated to enlist into the army, and so I was 3 years in the army. And as soon as I got out, this is the first time thing that I do. I never went to study or never went to work for a different company. And people always tell me you should get a law degree, uh, go and be a lawyer. And so I hired a lawyer instead because it was easier.
I was gonna say that's a lot smarter. Um, you seem happy with your work, right?
This is everyday challenge. Every case is very challenging to solve, and when there are cases that there is something, wait, what's going on? Why was he suspended? We don't go to sleep until we
Yeah.
solve it, until we solve the problem. And so I'm pretty happy with it.
So you like the challenge, but are there also some things that you don't like about your job?
Of course, there are clients who tend to get a little too much, but that's understandable, and that's part of it, the psychology thing.
What is a skill or character trait that you wish you had but you don't have?
Um, a little bit more patient, not to be too rush, I would say, not to be too rush with my answers to clients.
And if you could have a superpower, like something that's not real, like flying or teletransporting, which one would it be?
Um, super knowledge, I would say, to to read into my mind everything.
That would be great. I couldn't, like, I asked this question like 10 times now, but I still don't know which superpower I like to have. Everything has pros and cons. Was there a time where you wanted to quit and just say, like, this is too stressful, this is too much responsibility, I want to go to work for another company? Or did you never have such a situation?
So far, no.
Okay, let's hope it stays like this. If you could ask Jeff Bezos for one favor, what would it be?
Get the Chinese black hatters off your platform.
Yeah, it's very hard, right? I
Yeah.
wouldn't even know how they should do it. I just want them to do it, but I don't know how.
That's a cat and a mouse situation. They suspend, they come with new tricks. I can understand the seller's frustration, and I can understand Amazon's side. And when sellers come and complain that Amazon suspends too easily, it's important to understand that we caused this as well with all the reviews manipulation and the giveaways we made, and the chase we are trying to catch up with the Chinese sellers. Most of the sellers are violating Amazon's policy in some way or another. And so I don't think it's right to afterwards to come and complain about their suspension because we caused it.
What do you think is the worst about the situation? Is it like hijackers or I don't know, Chinese sellers that give your listings a lot of bad ratings? Like what's the main problem with that?
The ratings, because it's almost unsolvable.
Yeah, it's very hard to verify like if it's just
Even
a
even
competitor or
even if you have proofs, you can't come to Amazon and say to them, "Hey, a competitor is abusing me," because Amazon comes with an approach that we are amazing. There is no issue with our platform. There are no black haters. There are no issues. There can be no manipulations. And if you are coming and complaining about manipulation, is because you are making the manipulations. Our platform is amazing, and that's an issue. That's a problematic approach.
definitely. Do you have any idols in this industry that like inspire you for what you're doing?
No, not so far. I try to create my own thing here, and I'm not aware of too many people who are doing the same. I am aware of other appeal companies, and we are in great relationships with each other. We are sharing a lot of knowledge, but I wouldn't say they are some kind of idols.
All right, then let's talk a bit about your future. We're only about a week away from 2020. What are your plans for 2020? I think you told me when we met in Tel Aviv a little bit that you are about to found a new company with some other people from the industry. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, sure. So we are actually merging our company SellerAppeal with three other companies. So we will be a group of four, and we are going to start a new company that will compete with the top, and we will provide everything from sourcing to PPC managements, to appeal services, uh, to notifications, everything you can possibly think of. And the best technology there is. There are eight other people other than our four, so we are a group of 12 currently, and we are working on this. We are working on this, and we will start sharing this out in the next few months. We got a lot of budget currently, and we will go public with the company.
That sounds awesome. So there's
We will
a
make an IPO in the next few months,
oh
and
wow,
we'll hear about this later.
a new agency superpower on the horizon. Our viewers and listeners should keep that in mind. All right, then I'm already at my last question. If you had the attention of every Amazon seller in the whole world for 1 minute, which three tips would you give them?
Don't chase after your competitors and Chinese black haters. A lot of people say to me that how can I win in this market? How can I succeed when my competitor is making manipulations? I have to make manipulations as well. So don't do it, because they will get suspended and you will take their place. The second would be to understand that you are entering a business here. This isn't 2 hours a day and go to the sea. This isn't really a sea. That's a wallpaper. That's the
I was going to say you live the digital nomad life working at the beach.
It looks like it. At least that. So it's not this. It's not this. You need to understand it. Otherwise, you will not succeed. And sadly, a lot of gurus and mentors are saying that it will be. And so you need to understand that this is a business like everything else, and like everything else, it has high chances not to work. And the third would be to not to try and keep everything in your own hands. If you don't know PPC, go and hire someone who knows PPC. Otherwise, you will spend your time and money, and it will be hard to grow.
Yeah, probably won't get any results and just burn all of your investment. All right.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your tips and your time and answering all of my questions. It was a pleasure having you on. And yeah, I wish you a happy new year. How will you celebrate? With your family?
Yeah, with my family here in Israel.
Sounds nice. Then, yeah, I wish you a couple of relaxing days, hopefully, and a lot of success for 2020.
Thank you very much, Christina, for you as well.
All right, guys, that's it for today. That was my interview with Or. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions for him or for me, simply leave your comment below this video. I also included some helpful links in the video description where you can find out more about SellerAppeal and Sermondo.com. And now I want to know from you guys, do you think it's worth hiring a suspension appeal service? Would you rather appeal a suspension yourself? Why? Why not? Let me know. Drop your comment below. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, subscribe to our channel. You can do this now by either clicking the Sermondo globe somewhere here or the red subscribe button somewhere here below the video. And if you do so, I will see you guys next time.